Welcome back to a whiskey tour of the world.
And I'm Kyle.
I'm Gail. And today we are traveling to Finland with the Helsinki Distilling Company. You gonna put the little? Did you put the little bottle up closer? No.
No, but I can.
Okay.
It is another rye.
It is a rye. It is a rye malt whiskey. So this distillery is the first new distillery in 100 years in Helsinki.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
The building that it's housed in has cellars that are over 160 years old.
Do they have old product?
They do not. They just have the cellars. So this building used to be a power plant for 30 years, and then afterwards was used as a soap factory, a meatball factory, a car wash, and then a wine cellar.
That's so many different things.
I mean, in Finland, I guess it's really important to have, meatballs. So, yeah. I think that's pretty interesting.
No. Okay, that's fine.
So,
You're thinking Sweden. The Swedish meatballs?
Finland makes meatballs too.
Meatballs?
Yeah. So this one is a rye malt. And it is apparently malted rye and barley. And that's all it says. It's the best Finnish malted rye and barley. It doesn't give the breakdown for what it is. But it is held
Yeah,
in American oak, American virgin oak, and especially selected ex-bourbon barrels. The casks are all 200 liters with char levels ranging from 1 to 4. The whiskeys have been matured for at least 5 years in the distillery's cellar, the 160-year-old wine cellar, down underneath Helsinki. How creepy is that?
That's not creepy. That's cool.
Well, yeah.
It's not like you don't want to go.
I mean, I do want to go, but
Okay.
what are the chances of us going, though? This has a very potent aroma.
It has a very strong smell. Almost like it's burnt.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely smell like the char level on this.
Well, like,
I get like bread too.
When you're cooking like a sugary thing, that might be my glass. It's not chipped, it's just scratched.
It's just got a scratch. Okay.
When you burn sugar, that smell, you're like, oh, that's too much.
The brulee.
Yeah.
Some people like that brulee.
I also don't want to say
try
this,
it.
but I got like a plastic smell. Okay. Oh, cheers.
I should not have looked at the cap when I was drinking this. It is a really big flavor on the palate. I get like coffee and like burnt marshmallows and like sugar and like dark chocolate.
But it's a rye and it's not spicy.
You don't think that's spicy?
I don't think it doesn't burn like other ryes.
So the burn of it like burning in your chest and your mouth, that's different than like saying that it's spicy. Maybe not for you, but.
It's not as rye-y as, say, the Hudson rye.
Or the other rye that we just had.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rye.
The English rye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to try it again. I kind of wonder what it's going to taste like out of the Glencairn.
Oh.
I definitely taste wood influence also. Okay, so on the nose. It smells different out of the Glencairn.
It does. It doesn't smell as much like burnt sugar to me.
It's like softer, like vanilla notes.
Oof.
I mean, don't take too deep of a breath.
Well, I mean, but out of this cup, you can do that and it doesn't burn.
Yeah.
If you do it with this, it points it and shocks your nose a little
This
bit.
is only ever so slightly less than the one yesterday. This is 47.5%. I like the flavor from the Glencairn more also. I feel like the wood is not as abrasive on your palate. Okay, so tasting notes. On the nose, we get vanilla and fudge from the virgin oak casks, malted rye and freshly baked rye loaf from the distillate, and malts and dark chocolate.
I think I don't get fudge.
I don't get fudge. I can smell the vanilla out of the Glencairn.
Most of the time when I eat fudge, though, it's kind of like creamy fudge. So I think I could get more of like a dark chocolate.
Yeah.
But
It does say dark chocolate on the nose. Okay, on the palate, notes of vanilla, dried pears, figs, caramel, licorice.
like black licorice?
It just says licorice. Herbs, coffee, and dark chocolate.
Old man black licorice.
It doesn't say black.
I know,
it
but I
just
could see
says
that.
licorice.
I get it.
I mean, maybe it's like an anise.
What do you think it tastes like?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm very curious, but to be honest, I think that it's probably, for me, I think that it's more of like an anise flavor than a black licorice flavor.
Okay. What's the
Finish.
Yeah.
The finish on this Finnish whiskey. Pause for applause on that one. The finish is long. It lingers on the inside of the cheeks. The spiciness of rye whiskey is evident.
That doesn't very descriptive of what the flavors are.
It's not.
I can feel the spices though. Like if you put it on your lips, it would stay.
You mean like if I just like put it like chapstick on my lips?
Well, not intentionally like that. I'm saying I can breathe in and out and feel it. And now I want to say the off-putting things. There's something in this that I do not like. And I assume it's the style of the wood that they used.
I mean, they're American oak barrels, first time use, and then ex-bourbon barrels. Maybe this is a good example of like the difference in terroir, because they use Finnish grains and Finnish water versus like a Kentucky bourbon. I guess, no, let's not even do a Kentucky bourbon. A rye from somewhere in the United States that would use first time oak. Like, it's going to taste very different. Like, I feel like you could put this up against a Minnesota rye, single varietal Minnesota rye, and you would be able to understand the big difference between terroir in whiskeys, because they're going to taste so different, and they're going to use the same type of wood. You know, we in the United States are going to use ex-bourbon barrels and first time, you know, American oak. They're using the exact same type of barrels. It's an interesting thought, right?
What if I said I thought it smelled like rotten wood?
I mean, I'm not saying that I like this one.
I think that we both are in agreements on this one.
I'm just pointing out the fact that, like, I don't think that it has to do with, I don't think it has to do with the barrels. I don't think it has to do with the quality of the product, because it is a good whiskey, I don't feel like I'm drinking methanol or ethanol with this one. Like, I feel like the cuts are really well done. I think that it's a very well-made whiskey. I think the difference is very much in the grain that they use for this, and that is the difference between like a Pinot Noir from California versus a Pinot Noir from Burgundy or Willamette Valley. Like, you are going to be able to understand the influence of the area and where it's grown. And this is a good example of that, because this tastes so different for a malted rye whiskey than anything that we've had so far.
Yes.
Some of them we've really liked, some of them we haven't. I mean, obviously there's been some in this book that we've really liked. And I think that it just has to do with the flavor of the grain that is used.
There's so many things I like about this. There's one thing in there I don't like.
You think that it smells like burning.
Well, I think it smelled
And
like burning,
plastic.
but I think it tastes like rotten wood.
Tastes like rotten wood.
I might have said smell, but I don't know. There's something interesting, different about it. Or swamp or something. When was the last time you walked through a swamp? Because I've walked through swamps in my life.
It's been a few years.
Surveying swamps. It's gross.
Yeah.
Bogs.
Well, that's a lovely sentiment to think about.
It can be positive. It's unique.
So yeah, this I feel like is gonna be a pretty divisive whiskey. So if you, our friends out there, have things to say about it, have the opportunity to try it, what do you think about it? Because clearly, I feel like we're kind of split on this. Like, I'm not saying that I love it. I'm just saying that I find it very interesting, and it's unique in the fact that it tastes so different from the other ryes that we've had. And you clearly are not a fan of it.
I significantly like the Mexico one better.
Well, that one wasn't even a rye. That
was.
was a corn whiskey.
No, it was a rye, wasn't it?
No, it's literally right here. It says corn whiskey in the book.
I thought it was a rye.
No, the England Field and whiskey was a rye, and there was another one in the green section that was a rye.
Okay, so 13 was a rye.
Okay, I feel like I just said that. All right, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.